Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. It's time for us to do our opening song. If we could please ask you to turn off your cell phones, put them away, and we're going to get started. We're going to ask you to stand as we get ready to do I Release and I Let Go. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and...
All right, good morning, everybody. All right. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm... Hey, say hello to somebody around you. All right, here we go. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. All right.
All right.
right,
Good
come on.
morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Look at, and he's walking and
I'm
dancing
walking,
and
yes.
everything. How
Much better this week.
how is everybody this morning? Yeah? Good to see you all. I want to tell them about how Elizabeth put
Yeah,
each
where's
one of
Elizabeth?
those. Where
Does she have-
is she? I don't know. She's a
Elizabeth well, William put the tree structure together, but Elizabeth single-handedly put all the poinsettias in and arranged everything. So, Elizabeth, we thank you.
I know. I mean, I think, like, what did she do? Fly up there? I mean, did she? Unbelievable. How did you do that?
Yeah, we all know that.
I'll
Thank
know
you,
that.
Elizabeth.
Thank
All right.
you, Elizabeth. All right, let's see what's going on. Oh, talking
Yes.
about that.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So every year we put up our poinsettia tree, and for our candlelight service, you can buy poinsettias in honor of or in memory of someone, and we put it in our program. They're $10 each. Fill this out soon. We don't want to wait till. Please don't come in the day before the candlelight service because we print these up. And so Julie will love you if you get it in sooner than later.
And
But-
speaking of candlelight, do we have an announcement about that? I don't
No.
think so.
No.
Candlelight, December 22nd, Saturday night, 6 o'clock. Remember Nikki Harris that came and sang for us? Yep. My gift to the congregation is that I paid for her ticket to come back here and sing for us on Candlelight. So she'll be here on Candlelight. That means it's going to be an amazing Candlelight.
Right, and so we're going to have tickets. Are you going to tell them about that? Or?
Next week. Next
Okay,
week we'll
okay.
have tickets available.
All right, all right. And so join Sue Powell. She has a primordial sound group meditation. Would you go back? Thank you. It's on this Saturday at 8:45 to 9:45. And so it's a wonderful meditation, and I believe it's over in the Ohm Room for that. And then Daniel Namod on Friday and Saturday, December 14th and 15th, he does this incredible holiday house concert, and it's in his studio out in Orange County. And if you're out that way or you want to go, I highly recommend it. We have flyers out there, and he's also doing a retreat in January to start the new year off, and there's information about that too. And, I'll let you talk
Yeah,
about
on
this.
December 16th, we're going to have a meeting after the service. I'm taking a group to Bhutan next September. So if you'd like to go with us, Dr. Edward from the Santa Rosa Church, myself, and the Spirit Tours, we'd love to have you. Whenever you travel with our group, we have an amazing time. So please join us for more. If you want more information, we want you to come with us.
Yes, yes. And we are collecting toys and food, and we have 2 groups that we're collecting for Well in the Desert, and we also have Child Help.
Child Help.
The Child Help. And so there's a list there of toys, food, blankets, they're everything that they need for both groups. And the Well
So
in
you
the
just
Desert.
choose which one you want to give to, and then grab the stuff and bring it to the center next Sunday.
Right, unwrapped. Please bring them in unwrapped so we know what we've got, so we know where to distribute it to.
Perfect.
And, I know Jenny raised like almost $300 in donations last week, so she wanted to thank you, and blankets and food, and it really helped, and so it was wonderful. And keep it coming, she says. And also, a couple weeks ago, you know, when we had the fires, but as part of our tithe from the tithe that you give, we donated $1,500 in gift cards to the Westlake Center because they had people that were displaced, lost their homes, and we're already getting thank yous.
And actually, we got a thank you note from a single mom who had a child with disabilities, and she just said, you know, there's a lapse between the time the fire occurs and between you get your first paycheck from the insurance company. So she's like, I don't know how we're going to survive this gap. And she said the money that we were able to give her really helped sustain her, and she was very, very grateful to our congregation. So we are changing lives, you know, one heart at a time and one family at a time. So.
And 4 paws at a time. Also, we don't have a slide, and I forgot to mention this at the first service, but the member council, they are meeting today at 12:30. So please, are they meeting over in the Ohm room? So just, you know, make sure you come back for that, those of you who are involved, and we really appreciate it.
All right, we have a quick video before Nadine takes the stage, so we're going to pop a video in for you. Here we go. And we can change the world one heart at a time.
I'd like to introduce you to one of our congregants, Lisa Hadley. And Lisa has an amazing story of transformation that she's experienced since coming to the center just 2 years ago. So Lisa, how did you find us?
Actually, I had driven by several times, but then I injured my neck and was in a lot of physical pain and was housebound. And one day I just thought, I've got to get up and get out. And I thought of the center, and it was Sunday, so I thought I'm going to go down. And I wasn't sure I could even make it through the service. But I came in and I sat down, and actually it started when Joe started singing in the very beginning. And I felt like a release. And then he started singing, My Soul I'm Diving In. And it just cracked something in me. It was a release of, I've found a place.
And so Lisa, since you went to that Sunday service, you've been coming to other groups that we have here. And what did you discover about yourself that you didn't know before coming here?
I had never had a spiritual home. I had been raised in a church, but I never could ultimately identify with the philosophies. And I think that's what I found here it was an aha moment of, oh my gosh, this is my spiritual home. And I did. I started coming to classes, one of your classes. I couldn't get enough. I just wanted to learn more, but what I ended up doing was learning more about myself. And ultimately, my connection with spirit and with every other human is what I identified here. I have gone in 2 years from wondering what my life is about to now honoring what my life is about. And I'm just excited every day.
And we can change the world. I like that. That was sweet. That's the first time I saw that, so that's really great. Thanks, Lisa. Is Lisa here? Lisa, where are you? She's in Vermont. I hope you're joining us on the Love Stream. Nadine, everybody, you're going to love what's going to happen today with our soloist today, Nadine. Nadine, please come on up, and Jerry Lynn, if you would tell her a little bit about what she does.
My pleasure. You've probably seen her with us before, for those of you who have been coming for a while. But if you're new today, Nadine is just encompasses so many different things. She has come as a soloist. She's brought. She had a group called Stars. Well, tell me what it means.
Stars stands at Singers Taking Action, Reaching Souls.
Yes. And a trio of fabulous singers. And then for some of you who may remember, she also brought us the Kenyan choir that was here last year. So she is just going to rock your world today. We're going to start with Lighten Up the World.
Lighten Up the World, yes. Good morning, family.
We're on a wheel, spinning through the cosmos. All the love we feel spins away the fear. Walking up the ladder, emanating power. Blessed Holy Spirit, guide us on our way. For we are courage and we are freedom for all the people. As we lighten up the world, yes, we are masters and we are heroes for all the kingdoms. As we lighten up the world, give me all your burdens, give me all your sadness. You'll be filled with laughter only when you say that you are holy water, you are highly favored, blessing all the mountains, valleys, hills, and plains. For we are courage and we are freedom for all the people. As we lighten up the world, yes, we are masters and we are heroes for all the kingdoms. As we lighten up the world, as we lighten up, go on and show that love's the way. As we lighten up, have faith in every word you say. As we lighten up, give up the stories that we made. As we lighten up, go on and light the way. We are on a wheel, spinning through the cosmos. All the love we feel spins away the fear. For we are holy water, we are highly favored, blessing all the mountains, valleys, hills, and plains. For we are courage and we are freedom for all the people. As we lighten up the world, yes, we are masters and we are heroes for all the kingdoms. As we lighten up the world, yes, we are courage and we are freedom for all the people. As we lighten up the world, yes, we are masters and we are heroes for all the kingdoms. As we lighten up the world, as we lighten up the world.
Thank you.
Thank you, darling. As always, beautiful. Thank you. So tonight is the first night of Hanukkah, and so I'm going to ask Dale. Where's Dale? Dale, come on up. And every year we've been educating people about what Hanukkah stands for, what each represents. So Dale, Everett, take it away.
So what I've learned this year about Hanukkah is never let Goyim set up your menorah for you, because it's not done right. Oh, now I know. Now I know why he said that. I was told that it was flipped around because this is filled with too much wax. So I just am going to have to do it this way. I'm sorry. So I arrived this morning, and there's candles in every single holder. And I said, no, God, I thank you. Yes, that would be beautiful if I lit every single candle up, but this is only the first night of Hanukkah, and we only do one candle per night. So tomorrow night there'll be 2, the next night there'll be 3. So this is why it looks as it does today. So I'll be explaining that symbol to you in a few minutes. My name is Dale. I'm the lead practitioner here at the center, and I was raised in the Jewish tradition. I grew up in a fairly religious household. I had a bat mitzvah. I went to Hebrew school. So this symbol and this holiday is very, very important to me. The real story around Hanukkah is that it's about not allowing appearances to deter us from getting our good, from living our dream. Regardless if it looks like we're just this little thing against a huge army, we can do it. With faith, with strength, and determination, we can make anything happen in our lives. And that's what the story is about. Here's what historically it is about. In the 2nd century BC, the state of Israel was occupied by a foreign government, a foreign country, and they were of Greek-Syrian order, and they believed in a different system of spirituality. They believed in many gods, lots of idols, whereas the Jewish people believed one God, that's it, and they didn't worship idols. They only worshiped spirit through the invisible presence that it is. And so the Jewish people were getting a little uneasy about this occupation that they were living in, and a group of very fierce warriors led by Judah Maccabee decided the time was now. And so this little ragtag group decided they were going to go against a huge organized army and try and take them down. And take them down, they did. They got the big thing that was on their mind was the temple, because the temple was everything in that time. That's where the whole culture revolved around. And so they went to the temple to go dedicate it back to a place where spirit, as Jewish people look at it, is living and breathing and expressing itself. And the temple was destroyed. Everything was destroyed. And so they had to dedicate it back to being a place of holiness. And so in their quest, they had to burn lights. They had to set up a new altar and get the flame of spirit back, because in Judaism, the flame of spirit is the symbol of eternality of the soul, of our souls. And so what happened was they only found enough oil for one night. And they were feeling like, how are we going to make this work? Well, we've got to just do with what we have here. So they lit that little vessel that held the oil, and what ended up happening is that it burned for 8 nights. And that's why we have eight lights on our menorah, and why we have 8 nights of Hanukkah. That's the whole reason we do that. And so that's the miracle of Hanukkah. And what's really cool is that Hanukkah is known as the Festival of Lights, but really the word Hanukkah means dedicate. And the way that I like to look at it, and I think many people look at it, is we're dedicating ourselves back to spirit. And so as I always like to do when I stand up here and give my Hanukkah talk, is I like to weave a little metaphysical wisdom and story for you to be able to relate to this story on your own terms. And I see the temple as being our lives. All of our lives is a temple. And there are times in our lives where the walls come tumbling down. Something happens in our lives, whether we have a loss of somebody who we loved dearly, or something radically changes in our lives and we have a change of fortune. There's always something that does happen in the course of our lives that makes that temple of ours come down, and there's rubble around us, and we don't know what to do, where to look to rebuild. And the story of Hanukkah teaches us to start by recognizing the presence of God, that in the midst of anything, any misfortune, any loss, there is God, and that God is symbolized by light. So for us to recognize that light exists, and to never underestimate the power of that light, because we've seen what that light does in our own lives. We see what it has done for the Jewish people. And so to maintain that faith and just know that your life can be built anew no matter what you've been through. If you center yourself on spirit and love and peace and possibility, a whole new temple will be built for you, and you will be back in a new flow of life, because that's how it works being a human being, right? Well, I would like to invite all those who are of Jewish faith to join me up here to say the blessing over the menorah. So if you feel comfortable and you were raised Jewish, please join me up here. Thank you. Come on up. Oh, that's okay. You don't just mumble it. You can just mouth it. I'll be speaking for us. Oh, how wonderful. Hi. I say shalom haverim. That means hello, friends, in Hebrew. But we're all family. We're all Jewish anyway, so.
Ooh.
Hi, come on up. So we light the head candle called the shamash, and that lights all the other candles. So I'm going to say the prayer if you guys want to join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah, everybody.
Dale, the prayer that you just did,
Oh, you want me to say it in English?
please.
Blessed art thou, O Lord, our God, King of the universe, who commands us on this day to light the Hanukkah menorah and celebrate this holiday.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Dale, and thank
Thank
you
you.
everyone who helped join in this. Okay. Got it?
We take a little longer to move, so bear with us, please.
You got it. There you go. You're welcome, honey. You're welcome. Thank you for participating in that. Got it. Thank you. All right. Where are we? I don't know where I'm at. We're going into meditation now. Thank you. This will all make sense in a few minutes. Okay, yeah, well, this is let's do our mission statement. But before we do that, I want to change. I want to tell you that there's going to be a change in our meditation today because Nadine is going to sing a wonderful song for us in our meditation. So we're not going to have the call and response. I'll lead you in. The practitioner will come out, and then Nadine will come up and sing her song, and then we'll remain in silence when she's finished. So as much as you're going to want to jump out of your seat, please don't. Just remain in silence for a few minutes, because what you are about to experience, if you've heard this before, is just really amazing. So let's do our mission statement. This reminds us why we're here every week. We are a dynamic, open, and positive faith community that accepts all religions. Our mission is to awaken you to your divine nature, empowering you to create the life of your dreams. We are changing lives one heart at a time. Lights down. Let's take a deep breath in. And exhale out. Give me one of those. Deep breath in and sigh on the exhale. Inhale. Hold it. If you're like me, sometimes our minds spin and look for answers and lists and all that stuff. But right now, just hit pause on all of those. Let's become fully present on our breath, on the very thing that's breathing you and breathing me. Let the chair support you. And know that you are in your right place right now. Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my serenity. As within, all around, all I need is here and now. Where there's air, let me love, and I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender, let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me now and evermore.
I breathe in that loving Spirit. I recognize its presence. I breathe again and know that loving presence is right here in this space and in this place and in my mind and in my heart. From that breath and that knowing, I allow myself to be present, to be open, to be renewed. As I allow the service experience and its music to invigorate my being, as I allow Dr. Joe's message to inspire my heart and awaken my mind to the truth of peace that I am, of that forgiveness that goes beyond forgiveness, of just recognizing and accepting and knowing and believing and feeling and living as that one life, that life is God, that life is my life, and that infinite peace, that infinite serenity, that perfection is right here, right now. I breathe in this truth. I breathe out this truth. I give thanks for this truth in my life as a space and place right here, in this moment, in this moment. Thank you. Thank you. I know this prayer has been released to the infinite presence of law and is made so in this life, in the life, and in my life now. I invite you to claim this truth with me by saying, and so it is. Amen.
Padmanabam Suresha Shahandagaram Bhujagashayana Padmanabam Suresha Vishwadaram Gagana Sadasha Shantagaram Bhujagashayana Padmanabam Suresha Amen. Dominus illuminatio me. Amen. Dominus illuminatio me. Amen. Vishnu, 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 Vishnu. Hallelujah. Vishnu, 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 Vishnu. Shayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadaram Gagana Sadrasham Shahandakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham
Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale. One more time, deep breath in. Nadine, you're amazing. That's on your CD, right? You can buy that. Give that as a gift to somebody, to yourself and for somebody else. That's just... Okay, why don't we just all take a nap now and we'll come back to this. Happy 66th anniversary, Russ and Dee McDonald. Right there, 66 years today. Happy anniversary. All right, ready? Woo, okay. New energy, here we go. William? Thank you. Looking for that perfect holiday gift? Yes. Really? Wake up, all right? Are we looking for that perfect holiday gift? Yes. Of course you are. Is there something you really need? Yes. Guess what we're going to give ourselves? Try forgiveness. It doesn't cost you a thing. You don't have to pull out a credit card or cash or anything. Today we're going to talk about forgiveness. Really talk about some things about forgiveness. So, in our global vision, our global heart vision for the Centers for Spiritual Living, one of the lines there is this: we envision a world in which forgiveness, whether for errors, injustices, or debts, is the norm. We envision a world. Now, I don't know if that we can ever come to that, but can you turn the ceiling fans off for me, please? I know, I'm cold. But we envision a world, and I don't know if it's possible, we at least have to have the vision. We have to cast a vision always larger than ourselves or our belief system, right? In order for us to expand and express, we have to cast a belief system or a vision that's larger than what we currently have as our paradigm. So casting this vision that we envision a world in which forgiveness is the norm, where we walk around and people, look, I make mistakes. Anybody here not make mistakes? Just fly up to the front. Just launch up here, give the rest of the lesson, and we'll all go home, right? But we all make mistakes. I make mistakes, you make mistakes. And the thing about forgiveness is that we need to forgive each other for the mistakes that we're making, because we're all going to make them. At some point in time in humanity, we all make mistakes. But we want forgiveness, where there's really a quest within ourselves to have that forgiveness. And believe it or not, we need to forgive. We are all human beings, and we all have made mistakes. We all carry an unconscious burden of guilt, and we all need a sense of being forgiven. There's that, you don't realize it, but sometimes deep down, we have a need to forgive someone because it nags us all the time that we haven't yet. Anybody? I always say we always bury the hatchet, but we know where it's buried. And it has no time of expiration. We'll go back and dig it up whenever it's necessary, right? So within ourselves, there is a need to forgive. And in order for us to experience forgiveness, we have to learn to forgive ourselves and to forgive others. One of the most revealing things in the science of mind is our need to feel that we are right with God, with life, and with each other. This one I'm going to take a while on. I have something to share with you. In my own need to do this, to teach this. So about 2 weeks ago tomorrow, a friend of mine that I've known for 30 years, he and I have worked together. He actually sold his place in LA and is with his partner, and they bought the house literally across the street from us so we could all retire together. He made his transition at 56 years old, and that was 2 weeks ago. And usually I'm pretty good about handling one. I can do one, close by. But then last Sunday night, and some of you are from the NoHo Church, Reverend James Mellon, my dear friend, he called me and was calling me from the corridor of the hospital where his 19-year-old daughter was having brain surgery after a car accident. And throughout the week, he and I have been in touch, and on Thursday I drove in because on Thursday they had to make the decision to actually release her and unplug her and let her go. And I bring that up because of this. And then I was with the family that night, and all of our days here, they're numbered. We don't think about it.
I mean, sometimes we'll joke about it going, okay, well, I wonder what my expiration date's going to be. But we don't know when that really is. And yet, some of us carry around a lot of anger, resentment, and fear. And it drives us. It makes us live, But in the science of mind, we talk about being right with God and right with life and right with each other. And I'm not an expert at this at all. I work on this all the time. But it's about being right in life with you and everyone around you. And when you're talking to somebody whose 19-year-old daughter is about to leave the planet, you really have a grasp on what is important. And a lot of times we hang on to resentments and petty things that we just, I went off on her and I did this and that. We hold on to those things. We hold on to that energy. And that energy is not a good healing energy. You're not right with the universe when you're holding on to that sort of stuff. So I encourage us today, when I do my talk, I know for each and every person in here, there is someone you want to forgive, you've wanted to, but you've held back. And you know why you've held back? Because the ego is telling you not to let it go. And I tell you what, I've had a couple wake-up calls in 2 weeks where I've gone, wait a minute, what's really important here? What's really, really important? Now, I don't want to have the backdrop in my life be a fear of my own transition, right? But I do have to have some understanding because we can't explain why things happen like this. But we have to understand that something has to wake up within me when things happen like this. I may not be able to answer the question why things happen to people, but I have to live alongside the things that happen to people. I have to learn to live with that, to live in that place. And that takes a consciousness of forgiveness because no one in here has ever not offended somebody. Really. And we're going to again, and we're going to make mistakes. And when we make those mistakes, I know that I want to be forgiven, and I want to be able to forgive others. And I have to really work on this. Because what's really, really important is that I'm square with the house, that you and I and everybody, we go to bed, if we slid in that night, if we slid into the next experience, do you really want to slide in having just chewed up some toxicity of unforgiveness? We do that a lot. So maybe this is about a time for in this season. I mean, Dale's talk was brilliant. The walls of the temple sometimes crumble and fall down. You heard that, right? The lesson of Hanukkah is the first night is that Dale explained to us tonight that it meant that sometimes our temple's going to shake and the walls are going to fall down and you're going to feel awful about it. But there is that light within us that will rebuild that. They didn't turn back and go, well, you know what, we don't have enough oil to last us 8 days, so we're leaving. They didn't make that excuse. We make a lot of excuses to not forgive because our ego tells us that if we did, we would have to admit that, we might be wrong. And God forbid that be the case. Really, God forbid that be the case. What Dale explained today is the perfect segue to this. I bet if I gave you a piece of paper and a pencil and I said, you know what, I need you to write down someone that you've been wanting to forgive but haven't, that everyone in this room could come up with a lot of people on a list. Right? Yes? Yes? Really? Are you sleeping in the back? I'll have William turn the fans on again. It's impossible for us, no, don't do it. It's impossible for us to have a sense of being forgiven while we condemn others. Yeah. If you're out there condemning others, how can you practice forgiveness? If you're sitting in the seat of judgment and judging other people, how do you think people are going to forgive you for the things that you've done? Think about it. You can't sit there and not look. Things are crazy out there. Well, in here too. We have pockets of crazy all over the room. But hey. Paint it red and live it out loud is what I've always said. But we're living in a crazy time. We're living in a crazy, crazy time. No matter how you couch it, it just feels crazy. But I have to be careful, because if I'm going to condemn things that are going on around me, how can I sit in that judgment and then not expect someone to do the same to me? Wow. That's a hard one. Because we have to suspend judgment on things that we just have definite opinions on. Are you with me? And that's hard. Because it goes against our brain grain. But what I'm telling you is it doesn't go against the spiritual grain. It doesn't go against our spiritual paradigm. It actually helps our spiritual paradigm when we can say to some, don't say it out loud, but we could say to ourselves, forgive them for they know not what they do. Exercise forgiveness. Wow, because again, the backdrop, is it really that important to me in this moment to pick up the gauntlet and be angry and upset? And is it really? What am I going to get from that? Or after I just release it, knowing that some higher and better goods coming from everything I may not understand at the moment. And that's the problem. We don't understand at the moment. So when we don't understand in the moment, I have to say, look, let it bake. It's okay to be angry and hurt and grieving. Let it bake. Don't let everybody, just let it bake. Because sometimes when you think you say, I want to get over it, but you really don't yet. Anybody? But give yourself an expiration on the bake. Give yourself an expiration that says, I'm not going to keep this forever. I'm not going to harbor this forever. I need to feel the feelings I'm feeling, and then I have to move on. Because if you don't, you end up becoming that. Ugh. And no one wants to become that. I don't. Just because we don't understand it doesn't mean that something isn't going to present itself. Medical science has found a correlation between unforgiveness and health issues. Forgiveness is also good for your health. You know what? Your intestines will thank you. Your heart muscles will thank you. All those things that stress out, when you're stressed out, they will thank you when you finally let something go. So do yourself a favor. Shed a few grudges, and you'll feel lighter. You'll feel heavier or lighter. Cut me some slack today. All right? Not often do I ask for a lot of slack, but I want big slack today. I may say something totally inappropriate. Don't write me a letter. All right? Second part. Desmond Tutu said it this way. When a hurt or harm happens, we can choose to hurt back or to heal. If we choose to retaliate or pay back, the cycle of revenge and harm continue endlessly. But if we choose to forgive, we break the cycle and we can heal. Bold and capitalized. Ready? Renewing or releasing the relationship. I've never heard it put that way. We can choose to heal it and not retaliate and not fight back, and then we have a choice, stay in or get out. And it's okay either way. But you don't have to go out being angry and not practice forgiveness. You just got to leave and give them safe passage to their next journey. Does that make sense? Are you still cold? I'm freezing, which is odd for me. I know. And I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. And if I'm cold, I know some of you are wearing parkas. Okay. But listen, renewing or releasing the relationship. Say that. Renewing or releasing the relationship, which means you don't have to stick it out. It's okay to release it and let it go. How many of us have hung on to relationships that went way beyond their expiration date? Oh my God, my second husband, I spent 2 years getting in and 5 years getting out. And I think, why did I waste that 5 years getting out? That was wasted time. If I'd have just, said done at 2, I'd had more living to do. And not so much angst over that time period where I just had to cling on to it. Anybody? We're a mess. But such nice messes, though, We're spiritual messes. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama says, forgiveness is about healing suffering for ourselves and others. Until we develop compassion within ourselves and a concern about the welfare of others, we cannot truly forgive. There's a lot of stuff going on outside these walls. There's a lot of judgment. There's a lot of homelessness, mental illness, all sorts of things that are out there. And what I read that to say is, until I develop a sense of compassion and not criticism, not condemning, but compassion, then I put myself in a place where people can practice forgiveness with me. But as long as that's in my heart, as long as that's what I'm didn't mean to spit. As long as that's in your heart, people can't exercise forgiveness. Because guess what? Even if they did, part of you would reject it because you know that that's not the truth of who you are. And you would go, no. Think about it. Until we develop compassion for those who are, I would say, less fortunate than I. And what I realized, too, this week, Thursday night when I was sitting there and we just all kind of were shaking our heads and frozen. Frozen. Literally just frozen. You couldn't say a word. One thing I did think about is, man, I really do have champagne problems. This that I'm feeling now is a problem. But my life as a whole, I have a lot of champagne problems. I'm not having to deal with something like that incredible loss. And I bet the same thing's for you. But when you really think about it, you have a lot of champagne problems. Now, they take over your life. You email everybody. You talk about it all the time. It becomes an issue, right? You make it big. You might even put some extra paint on it so it looks a little bit more harsh or something. But when you think about it, do I really need to carry this? As we enter into this holiday season, maybe, in the first night of Hanukkah and lighting the candle, maybe, just maybe, there's something that you could do inside yourself to make a change. There's an old saying that forgiveness is like longing for a better past. Anybody? Yeah. Longing for a better past. Sometimes we get stuck in the story and live from the if only point of view. If only he would have said this. If only he would have done that. If only they would have said this. If anybody? If only. And you live from that place. And it's your excuse not to exercise forgiveness because you've come up with a whole lot of reasons why they're deficient. Not everybody's operating at the same bar that you are. Everybody's doing the best they can. And that means some people may make a mistake. God forbid you do. I do. We all do. So you know what? I know I don't measure up to a lot of bars that people put next to me. Measure up to a bar. Get it? Never mind. Totally inappropriate. That's where my mind went. But not everybody measures up all the time to what I believe they should do or be or say or act. So I sit in judgment, and then I hold on to any criticisms or not forgiving them because I think, you're not anywhere close to what I think you should be. Who am I? Does that make sense? We cannot change the past, but we can change the way we view it. What did this experience teach you? Are you able to see that this experience actually gave you a gift of wisdom, insight, compassion, and allowed you to move into a larger experience of life? And I would say this, I like this. I like this because this is what we teach. But I tell you what, there are some times that I don't want to hear this. I'm not ready to hear that yet. I'm not ready for you to ask me, what did I learn from this? Because right now I'm pissed. I'm angry. I'm upset. I'm hurt. And don't ask me what I'm going to learn from this experience, because I don't want to talk to you about that right now. I'm too busy baking in my own crap to talk to you about this. But let me bake in it for a little bit, and let me set my time to step out of it and regroup, and then look back on this. I can look back with 2020 like anybody else can and think all those things that happened to me, I can look back and go, you know what? Yeah, I get why that happened now, and I get a lesson from this, and I get the lesson from that. So if you don't see the lesson yet, just bake a little bit more. You have permission to bake. Now, some people, just don't bake too long. You don't want to get burned. You don't want to burn it. Because once you burn it, then you own it, then you become it, you give it residency, and you become a bitter person, and no one wants to be around you. So set yourself up with some parameters so you don't have. So I'll bake, but then I have to move on. And only you decide that. So if you can ask yourself the questions now in an enlightened state, what did I learn from this? Then good, you're ready to move on. But if you ask these questions and you don't have a clue because you're just too upset, then maybe it's just not the time to go searching for that question to be answered. Sometimes we ask the questions that cannot be answered. We just have to live alongside of things until other things happen and they resolve. Are we good? In the book by Archbishop Desmond Tutu and His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Bishop Tutu shares about his childhood and his alcoholic father who had abused his mother when he was drinking. It was difficult for him to forgive his father. He shared that he was very angry with himself because he was too small to beat him up. When he was sober, he said, he was a wonderful person. And I just adored my mother. She was an incredible human being. She was very gentle. And that's what made it even worse when he would drink and beat her up. He went on to tell about his father's death at a later time and how he felt regret that he'd not been able to have closure with him. He carried his own burden of guilt for many years. After listening to the Archbishop, the Dalai Lama was very quiet for a time and then said, "You spoke about how wonderful your father was when he was sober. It was only when he was drunk that these things happened. So it's the alcohol that's to blame, really. I think even he is a very, very kind person that he was. You know, when he was drunk, he was not that real person." And I had to kind of digest that a little bit. And when I digested that just a little bit, it's like, yeah, people do have addictions. People do have mental illnesses. People have, I bet I have a whole host of things that would prevent someone from forgiving me, right? But there are times when you have to go, but that wasn't the person, that was their addiction talking, that wasn't the person. And then you have a level of expectation that that person should have known better. Anybody? And we had judgment that they should have known better. How could they not know this? How could they not do this? Why can't they get themselves out of the way? Well, guess what? Not everybody operates at your level of perfection. And I guarantee you that someone could say something about your behavior where you would go, "Oh my God, I didn't know I was doing that." Just because they don't operate at your level doesn't mean that they're right and you're wrong, or you're wrong and they're right. It matters not. Are you following me? Forgiveness equals freedom. It's a process that it frequently takes many efforts. Forgive 70 times 7, 2 numbers of wholeness. That's what when in Scripture it says, forgive. How often do you forgive? 70 times 7. It means till you feel whole, meaning we continue to forgive until we feel whole again. And then let me add this, and that's still going to come up at some time. After you think you're all done with it, after you think you've done and been buried and it's gone, no, it will come up again. It may come, I shouldn't say it will, but it may. And if it does, it just means you have to do your work again. Don't sit there and go, "Oh my God, I thought I was over this. Here it is again." Let me call my friend and tell her I'm feeling that way now. Can you believe this? Again, I'm feeling this way again. Oh my God, I still hate him. What he did to me was wrong. If only he would have. I just told Susan this too. You hear me? Anybody? We know we've been on the receiving end of those calls. We're like, decline. going on a rant. Here we go. So it's not a one-time thing. It's going to continue. If there's any anger, condemnation, or animosity in me, I release it and let it go. I turn to that silent presence within me which gives all. Think of this. Gives all, forgives all, and withholds nothing. Say that with me, please. If there is any anger, condemnation, or animosity in me, I release it and let it go. I turn to that silent presence within me which gives all, forgives all, and withholds nothing. I think we're good. Are we good? I was so worried about making it through this Sunday. Yes. So at your lesson. Thank you.
Right. That was really good, Dr. Joe. I'd love to call our ushers to please come forward. And at this time, those of you that are live streaming, please, there's a donate button. You can participate in this offering by hitting that, making your donation, or you can also text your offering on that number. So in this moment, we're in this state of gratitude, recognizing how truly blessed we are. So let us say our prayer together, please.
William, prayer, please. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
offer this gift with joy and gratitude. I receive freely and give freely, knowing the law of circulation is working perfectly in my life and the life of this center. All right. Come on, we're going to shift the energy a little bit. Come on. Here we go. Sing it with me. Every day I wake up and I say, today I love my life. And every day I wake up and I say, today I love my life. One more time all the way through, come on. Every day I wake up and I say, today I love my life. And every day I wake up and I say, today I love my life. It's up to me to be grateful. It's up to me to be kind. It's up to me to be grateful. It's up to me. It's up to everybody else. Let's go. Come on, sing it out with me. And every day I wake up and I say, today I love my life. Come on, keep it going. And every day I wake up and I say, today I love my life. Come on, let's go. And every day I wake up and I say, today I love my life. Last time. And every day I wake up and I say, today I love my life.
All right. So, Roger,
Yes.
you've been coming here longer than I have been. How many years have you been coming?
26 years.
Why?
I'm sorry, 26 years.
That's right.
That's better.
Yes.
Why? Because, well, the best way to explain it is I was gone for about 3 years because I had felt that it really wasn't doing anything for me. Well, that's because I wasn't doing anything for this. So I came back.
Right, there you go, Roger.
And it's very hard not to get into a monologue. You know I love a microphone. Let me just let me explain that my grandfather was a Congregationalist minister. Okay. My younger brother founded Religious Science Boston.
Wow.
And I got my really entertainment and interest up because of my younger brother. And then ever since I've been coming here, it just keeps growing. I mean, it's amazing. And the thing I really had to let go of is I can't do it all myself.
Thanks, Roger.
Oh, thank you, Roger. Thank you. Yeah. All right, wait a minute. We got to bless this offering. Thank you. So let us bless our offering together, please. We bless this collective offering and receive it with gratitude, knowing it is spirit in action. As this currency flows through our center and beyond, it blesses many lives, including my own. All right. Thank you,
So just a quick
Roger.
reminder, make sure that you fill out, if you want to donate a poinsettia in honor or in memory of someone, pick that up today. And also your list for the children's different purchases, bring those in. Unwrapped next week, please. It's starting next week.
Yes.
And Nadine, your beautiful CD is available for you when you walk out. Perfect gift for somebody else and you.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to welcome our guests. If you are here for the first time, please stand up. We have a gift for you, and we'd love to welcome you. Anybody? Oh, back there, yay, and up here? All right, all right. Well, what we're giving you, welcome, and what we're giving you, back here. What we're giving you is a CD holder with information about who we are, and please stop by the table, the foyer, and pick up a CD of a couple of Dr. Joe's talks. We welcome you, and if you're from the Valley, please come back and make this your spiritual home. If not, enjoy your stay here in our beautiful Valley. I'd like to ask our practitioners to please stand. These are the practitioners that are in the Om room, and they're there for prayer work. Please, this is a sacred gift that they give you. No charge. If you're going through something, please go over there and have them do prayer work with you. Thank you, practitioners. Don't forget, we have a list of everything that's going on. Please come. Also, I want to just put another plug in for that Threshold Choir. It is amazing. They're doing great work, and they sing for people that are in hospice. And I had the honor and pleasure to hear that a couple weeks ago, and it was beautiful. So thank you for your work, Jean. Jean, stand up. She's leading it. Jean Terrell. Thank you, Jean. All right. So let us just do a closing prayer. So we've experienced not only in our communities, our CSL communities with the fires, great loss, country lost a great president this week, and for Nora. So what we know is that there is a divine presence, and that presence is eternal. And we are made in the image and likeness of that divine source. And so we too are eternal. We recognize that we put down this human body, but that we live on forever. And so we are grateful. We forgive what needs to be forgiven, and most of all, we forgive ourselves for the pettiness, the things that we have done. And we forgive others, knowing that they know not what they do. And so from this place of sense of loss sometimes, what we know is that the deeper that we feel that pain means the deeper that we felt that love. So we are grateful for every person that is here in our lives and those that have moved on, that have graduated to that higher life. We are thankful that they have touched our lives in so many amazing ways. And so we go about our life while we are still here, knowing that we are making a difference with our love and our divine presence. So I am so grateful for everyone in my life, so grateful for everyone here in this center. And I just know that divine right action is always taking place. So I release, I let go, and together we say, and so it is. Amen. Everyone have a wonderful week.